Hi, I'm Commissioner Nancy Jester, and welcome to Nancy Jester Reports for Tuesday, August 8th, 2016. I've got a lot to talk about, even though we had a fairly light Board of Commissioners meeting. First of all, I want to say good luck to all of our athletes, all of our Olympic athletes. I hope you're as interested in watching these summer games in Rio as I am. I want to particularly wish all the athletes from Georgia, which is a sizable contingent, wish them best of luck, especially as they compete over this next couple of weeks. And I just want to say for the record, it is Katie Ledecky's world and we are just living in it. She's just been fascinating to watch. So I hope everyone has enjoyed that as much as I have. Again, we had a very light commission meeting today. The highlight for me to mention to you is that we did approve a new appointment to the DeKalb County Community Services Board. Her name is Joan Gage, so congratulations to her. So I'd like to transition out of going through the agenda, which again was very light. Many items were deferred, so our next report will probably contain a lot more information from your meeting. But I'd like to transition into just an update then on some of the things that I'm working for you on from your Commission District 1 office. As you know, I have been concerned about nuisance businesses and things that are blights to the community, extended stay motels, adult entertainment, blighted areas, abandoned buildings, things where we have significant code issues. And so, of course, two properties that are just show this in full review is the Brandon Hill condo community and the Presidential Condotel. Brandon Hill's in District 4, and you know I've paid attention to that, and we've even filed suit as a county about that. The Presidential Condotel is in District 1, and this is that abandoned tower building at the intersection of 285 and Interstate 85 with buildings, with windows being broken out at a precipitous pace and graffiti on it. It's just very dangerous. If you're interested in seeing what I've been doing about that and some of the reporting, you can check out on my social media feeds the excellent report done by 106.7. I've shared it again on my Facebook, Twitter feeds. It's on YouTube. But 106.7 radio, News Radio, did a great report on that. So check that out. I will be continuing to follow the Brandon Hill and the Presidential Condotel properties and continuing to ask questions of the county about the status and how we can more robustly deal with it legally, deal with it with code enforcement. These are complicated issues, but we've got to press forward on them. So, and as you know, I also have a committee where we're investigating what we can do now to more robustly deal with these types of problems in our community, and if we're missing something legislatively from a state level or a local ordinance level, how do we get that in place? What would that look like? What are best practices from other cities and other states? So that committee, that task force, the Nuisance Business Task Force, continues to work on that issue. So this is a very complex problem, but I'm looking forward to eventually bringing forth some really pinpoint solutions for legislative action and legal action that we can take to help improve the economic development climate, quite frankly, in DeKalb County by dealing with these blighted areas, abandoned buildings, and again, more robust code enforcement. Regarding that, let me mention to you that you've got an opportunity to attend a meeting about the overlay district for Memorial Drive. This is going to be Thursday the 11th from 6 to 8 at Rock of Ages Lutheran Church. It's very important to attend these types of meetings because I assure you those business and community interests that may not be congruent with yours, those interests that may want to see a proliferation or an easing of regulations regarding adult businesses or extended stay motels and things that are not in your best interest, I guarantee you they will have people at those meetings. So come down, make sure your voice is heard so that you can put forth what you think are the types of things you want to see in your community. Have your voice heard. So attend that meeting. That's Thursday, August 11th. Additionally, some of the other things that I'm working on are getting to know and learn more about the Board of Assessors and how they operate, and how our chief appraiser and appraisal department are working, and how I can work and the commission can work to make them more effective and efficient. In fact, my interest in them specifically recently came about because a citizen sent me an email and brought my attention to the absolute the differences in the values around her compared to her house, in the characteristics and how certain homes were appraised. And I reviewed her information and sent it to the Board of Assessors and the Chief Appraiser, and in fact the characteristics they had for various properties near her were not accurate. So there was a real sort of relative equity issue there. And the Board of Assessors is important to us all because they're the group, that department, the appraisal department, appraises your house every year. You get an appraisal value. That is the amount that your millage rate is taxed against. And of course, if you appeal that value to the Board of Equalization, then it is the appraiser from that department that goes and meets you at that Board of Equalization hearing. So I want to shed some light and be a little more familiar and have more reports to you on exactly how that Board of Assessors is operating. And I will be sharing on my website, on my calendar, all of their meetings. They do meet every month, several times a month. And so I'm going to make sure you know when those meetings are. They're down here in Decatur at the Maloof building so that you can come and attend them. They're open to the public. I will be attending some as well. So that's something that I'm focusing on. Another issue that you may know that I'm focusing on are public works and infrastructure issues. I'm the point person for that, for the commission. We meet, just so you know, and this will also be on my calendar, generally every Monday I meet. It's a public meeting on the 5th floor here at the Maloof building, 5th floor of that building in our conference room. It's open to the public, and I receive updates and information and can ask questions of the department heads under public works. The largest being, of course, Department of Watershed Management, but it also includes sanitation, roads and drainage, and some other issues. So I continue to discuss and learn more about what our real needs are going to be going forward for capacity in our wastewater system. That impacts economic development, because if we have capacity issues, if we're not building enough capacity into our sewer system, that impacts the amount of economic development that can happen. So learning a lot about that, talking about that in these meetings, and also talking about our consent decree, and are we on target for that? Are we doing the right reporting on that? And I encourage you to visit the website DeKalbWatershed.com. You can click on consent decree and get the latest reports. We've just released some reports from August that will be of interest to you. This is important because the federal consent decree, if we're not compliant with it, we can receive fines, and in fact you could have a moratorium on sewer connections if we're not adhering to that consent decree with fidelity, and if the EPA isn't happy with us. So that would be a huge problem for economic development. So please go and take a look at those documents. Again, the latest reports, we've got some new reports, they're up there. So another thing we're talking about is with regards to watershed that impacts you would be a lateral sewer line program. We have some areas where we need to extend sewer to, and additionally when we have lateral problems. This has been a big burden for residents in DeKalb County, and we're looking at a way to have a program legally put in place where we can have access and help mitigate some of the problems we've had with lateral sewer lines, as well as put them in places we might want to extend sewer to when people have sewer petitions. Also commercial sewer credits for those commercial customers that return, that do not return water into the wastewater system, being able to credit them sewer amounts, and being able to codify a program in ordinance, in law, so that they can do that and we can appropriately credit them that. So those are my major updates there. And one of the things that is of interest too that I thought I'd bring to your attention is we get a report on contracts that don't come before the board, that are below a certain dollar amount, that do not need the board's approval, that go through the CEO's office. And one that just caught my eye, and I thought I'd mention it to you because I'm concerned about things like this, is a $72,000 agreement in May to provide money from the county to go to the school district for summer day camp programs. And why this is interesting to me is that I think summer day camp programs are wonderful. I think our Parks Department having programs is wonderful. However, the school district is not subject to the assessment freeze as the county is. So when your property is assessed and you pay your millage rate from the county, the frozen value is what is assessed. Anything over that frozen value, you don't get the millage rate assessed on. But the school district doesn't have a freeze in place. So your millage rate for the school district, which is much higher, and you're paying much more money there, goes against the entire assessment less any exemptions. So they have a much healthier financial cash situation, yet it's the county sending money to them to run programs for Parks and Rec. That's a real problem, and I think that it should go the other way around. I think the school district may be in the position to send money to the Parks and Rec program to run summer programs for children, or for instance, I just heard recently that our Parks and Rec department had a back-to-school bash and in fact had a rapper, Salento, there performing, and I'm looking into how much we might have paid for that and paid him to perform. So these are things I think if there's going to be a governmental entity paying for, it really should be the school district. They're in a better cash position, and I think it would benefit their primary objectives. So that's your update for August 8th, 2016, and we will be back later this week with some more videos on interesting topics, so stay tuned.